welcome to Beige and Reds TV match preview. Manchester City versus Liverpool. We're here with the famous MCFC Daps. Bro, welcome to the show with me and Beige and Pops. Big up to you, man.
Thanks for having me. Less of the famous. I'm not famous. No, thanks for having me.
We appreciate you doing that with us. With us, man. We're a new channel, and we're trying to get our content out there. Seeing we're one of the first Beijing content creators that's out there, just doing things the right way, having fun with it, and collaborating with a lot of good content creators like yourself. We appreciate the support, man. It's much appreciated.
Well, you know what? We all started small. Like, we're still small. We're still small in the grand scheme of things, but like I always say, the best content creators that are now big, that still make time for small. And I'm not saying we're big, but like, say, for example, Lee Gunner, right? When we were tiny, when we were like 100 subscribers, he came on, and still now he comes on. We're all football fans, right? No one's bigger than no one. None of us are football players. Well, we might think we are, but we're not. So
I'm definitely not one. Are you drinking a rum there, bro? Are you drinking a rum?
Right, you know what? I've been out today. I went out with my daughter, took a rock climbing, indoor rock climbing. Then we went to my mate's restaurant, and I had a porn star martini, and then on the way home, I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy one. So, what is it, a porn star martini? It is rum in a porn star martini, actually, isn't it? No, it's
really? No, it should be vodka, isn't it?
Yeah, usually vodka.
Vodka, yeah. Vodka. Yeah, we got to get you some good rum up there. I don't know what you guys get from Barbados in the UK. What rums do you get?
Bob, so right, I have to be right with this, because every island has a different rum in it. Like,
correct.
Like, Ray and Neff is
Jamaica.
What's the Bayesian rum then? See,
the one Mount Gay or Cockspur.
Probably
Mount Gay they've got here. But there's one that right, so my friends swear by, and I can't remember where it is. It's from Grenada. And it's right.
Is it Clark's Court?
Where, like, my best mate, when I was best man, he's half Jamaican, half Grenadian, and his wife's half Jamaican, half Grenadian, right? And he gave us all of the wedding party a hip flask full of this rum. And I know, because once I drank it, never again. It's bro. It's like, I'm going to find the name of it now. It's a Grenadian rum, and it's just like, nah.
Is it a white rum?
Yeah.
So I can tell you the name. It's probably called Clark's Court.
Nah.
No? Because that one's pretty harsh too.
Grenadian rum. I'm going to find it now. I have to, because right, it's not Rivers, because Rivers is the main one. It is. I'm going to have to find it now. Jack Iron. Iron.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's some harsh
I like Ray and Neff's. The funny thing is, when you have cocktails in England, you can tell when they just go for Bacardi, right? And when they put something like Ray and Neff's in there, because it just hits different. The levels are very different. Very different.
I don't know. I can't stomach Ray and Neff's anymore. I can't. I'm too old for that. No. I like the darker brown rums, to be honest. The older it is, the better it is.
Yeah. I'll tell you, because I like cocktails, right? And there's one cocktail I love. Is it called a Caprinia? And it's not with rum officially. It's with Brazilian equivalent of rum. And that is, but can't beat rums in cocktails, man. Can't. Nicest things.
Yeah, I'm a rum guy.
I think everyone is really and truly. If you're from the Caribbean, you're on the rum, innit? That's what it is. Yeah.
Some guys would go on to whiskey, but rum is the thing. Rum.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into some conversation with our two clubs, man, because I got some questions for you that I want to know how you're feeling. And the first one I'm going to start with you with is how do you rate your season so far?
Um, do you know what? Right. So for me, I never go into a season with expectations. I don't like, and a lot of our fan base now does, based on the last 13 years, 13 probably now 15 years now, right?
Yeah,
But we all know that, like, listen, you can have £1 million and it can disappear, right? You will remember the time before you had the £1 million, and that's always it. Like I've always said, if what we've got now gets taken away and we have to go back to where we were, is fine. Like I'm privileged that I've got to experience what I've experienced these last 15 years because I didn't before that.
yeah,
The frustrating thing this season, I guess, is at the start of the season where the amount of shows I was doing with people, and it would just be, oh, well, we all know City are going to win the league this season, right? And it was annoying because we'd be 10 games into the season. We were sitting about 5th or 6th and people saying we know City. And I'm like, are you not looking at the league? Like, and that's the thing with, look, we've been very, very successful, but same with every season in the Champions League, we are favourites. And I'm like, based on what? We've never won one. How are you making us favourites when we haven't won one yet, right?
Mhm.
And that, so this season going into it, look, I was thinking, do you know what? Yeah, with the players we've got, I think we're going to have a strong season, strong season. But this season's just blown everyone out the water. I know a lot of Liverpool fans were saying they were worried going into this season. I was one of the content creators that was like, this is baffling me. I'm sorry, but... And now I get it, because look, as fans of clubs, we see things before other fans see it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
as City fans, before people really started saying, oh, City aren't looking themselves this season, me and Steve and a lot of other City fans were saying no, because we're at games like, prime example, Brighton at home, which was in October or November. We won 3-1, but we did not look good, right? And I'm coming away from that, like, not happy, because I'm like, look, for where we want to be, we're not going to win. Like even in Leipzig the other week, I thought we'd get a draw, but as we were leaving the ground, other fans were going, "It's fine. We'll take him back to the Etihad." I'm like, no. That second half performance isn't fine because we don't just want to win this game. Ultimately, our end goal is to win the Champions League or win the Premier League. Ideally, win them both. And that second half performance, we're not winning the league. We're not going to beat Bayern. We're not going to beat Real Madrid. We're not going to beat Napoli. If Liverpool had gone through, we're not going to beat Liverpool. We have to be. Now, last few weeks, we've started to click. And everyone will talk about the goals we're scoring at the moment. For me, the most important thing is at the moment, we've kept 5 clean sheets in a row. We're not conceding now. We've got our defence back in it. No one really speaks on it that this season we've had Walker, Stones, Laporte, Diaz all out for periods of 5 to 6 weeks, right? And as Liverpool fans, you know, ultimately you don't win nothing unless your defence is moving correct. And that's been our issue this season. We're still the highest scoring team in Europe, but defensively we're conceding more. And as City fans, we see it. Even if we end up winning, I'm not going to say the FA Cup, but winning either the league or the Champions League this summer, you will see a refresh at Manchester City, because I think you've seen there's players there at the moment who I always thought with you lot, you won the Champions League. When you won the Champions League, I said, listen, if they win the league next season, there's going to be certain players there that they'll either lose or they're going to have to give a massive pay rise to. Because otherwise, look, if you're from another country, you come to England, you go to a club, you win everything you can with that club, right? You're happy at that club. But when it gets to contract negotiations, it's like, I'm happy. I'm cool here. You pay me what I want. I'm staying. That's what I want in the ideal world. But if you don't, no problem. Other people will in other countries where I can go and get new trophies. And I think that's where it is with us at the moment. There's players that have like retained, done a double, done a treble. The only thing they haven't done with City is a Champions League. And I think there's a few that need to move on. We need to freshen it up a bit. I think the same as Liverpool have had this season a bit as well, to be fair. So It's not, look, if we end up winning the league, end up winning the Champions League, it's a great season. if we end up winning the FA Cup and only the FA Cup, even if we get to the final, even if we lose the league on the final day of the season and we get to the final of the Champions League and don't win it, and we just win the FA Cup, it's a bad season. It's a very bad season.
Yeah. So going on,
it's very relative, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It is. It's where you, and this is a funny thing. I said this to an Arsenal fan the other day. Where you are right now, as in Arsenal, they're top of the league. That's it. They're top of the league. They're not in nothing else, right?
Yeah.
Pep's objectives at Manchester City are to challenge in every single trophy to the latter stages, right? So if you deep it, if Man City were top, but not in any other tournaments now, we'd be having a bad season. The board would be saying to Pep, you're not hitting your goals. Why are you out of this tournament? But that's just where we are now. And I think that's where I think Liverpool were probably so frustrated that after last season, your aim was this season to go again on all four.
Yeah. Yeah. But realistically, we knew without having any true support from the owners and giving us the players that we needed to refresh. Because, I mean, we all have to be fair. We've been playing the same midfield for the last 5 straight seasons. At some point in time, they're going to buckle. And this year, they have buckled. Right?
I think that's, to be honest with you, and this is where, with City, everyone will look at, oh, it's Haaland, or there's multiple things that you've heard about what's going wrong at City. And the one thing that you never really hear anyone say is the fact that, because we're the same as you, if you look at our midfield, very similar, right?
Yeah.
The one thing you never hear anyone say is that this season, this season, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan are not recycling the ball in the other team's half as quickly. That's where we're going wrong, right? Our midfield is not working as hard as it used to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, that invites the team into your half, right? And this is probably actually similar with Liverpool. When you invite a team into your half, and if you've got fullbacks that go forward and invert, and then you've got defenders out, like Diaz being out, Laporte being, all of a sudden you're inviting pressure onto Ake and Akanji as a centre-back pairing, first time they've played together, and your fullbacks are halfway up the pitch. That's not good, right?
Yeah.
And it is the midfield that's caused that. But it's not been documented with City because it's not the same as with Liverpool. With Liverpool, it's a bit more, your midfield has aged. With City, it just seems like, I mean, Gundogan's aged, to be fair, but with Bernardo Silva, I think all the stuff with Cancelo really affected him. And he was just like, do you know what? I want to be back that side of the world now. And with De Bruyne, for me, De Bruyne just hasn't had a great season. That's all it is.
Yeah.
He'll, and he's aging, to be fair to him. He is aging a bit, so.
Yeah. So what do you feel is the problem with City this season with fluidity? What do you think? Can you pinpoint it to one exact thing, or do you think it's a multiple of things?
Right. So there's one thing that is the overriding thing, and that is the fact that our midfield has, because then what's happened is changes have had to be made. Under Pep, and Pep's favourite system is playing with a false 9, right? Which then allows you, it's why it was created, is when you're on the attack, when you're getting into the team's final third, your false 9 becomes a striker. The minute you lose the ball, your false 9 becomes another midfielder, right? So that's what Pep loves. That's why Pep tries to push his fullbacks into midfield. He wants, even the wingers are kind of midfielders, because it's complete midfield domination, right?
Mm.
Now, when you get Haaland, a number 9, you lose a midfielder, right? And the aim of Haaland and the way he plays is to, keep the distance between the defenders and the midfielders. Haaland stays up high, or the defenders stay with him, which then leaves this area for your midfield to operate in.
Yeah.
But it also means that when you don't have the ball, you're limited on winning the ball back. You can't win it back as quickly. That's why Pep is then pushing, not just pushing the fullbacks forward, but inverting them. You've seen Rico Lewis playing literally alongside Rodri, or John Stones now playing alongside Rodri, or Ake coming in and playing alongside. And I think it's just that. It's getting used to that. And I'm not going to lie. No, I'm not going to scream injuries ever. And it's not an excuse. But it's the fact that if your defence changes and your defence isn't as strong and you're losing the ball, you're just at risk. And look, we all know City's the top of City's game. I'm not saying our defence is bad. I think our defence, and to be fair, Nathan Ake has been, for me, Man City's best player this season. But defending is not our strong point, right? Even to be fair, sometimes the one thing I'd say on Pep is I don't think he does anything in training about defending at all. I think we defend by not losing the ball. That's how we defend.
That's it.
Right?
Defending is possession. That's how you defend.
Yeah.
If you've got the ball, you don't need to defend.
That's it. But then you've got to think, with Walker out for 6 weeks, prime example, if a team hits us on the counter and we don't have Walker, we're limited because Walker's that insurance. It gets back.
He's the quickest.
And just little things like that. Also, this season's mad competitive. Like, this season is I always find it quite funny where, you know, the old school boys, sorry Arsenal, sorry Man United, but they love to say, oh, you know, the Premier League's not what it used to be. Well, let's be real. Back when the Premier League is what it used to be, it was a lot easier to get points against lower teams, right?
Yeah.
Now, and I always wonder why they think the Premier League used to be more competitive. It didn't. The Premier League gets more competitive every year. Like, so I always wonder with that. It just suits their agenda. But look, there's no winning game. We know Grizz has come up with football is a humbler, right? And this season, that is it. Yeah, football this season. Even if we just take the top 6, 7 teams, it's like both teams have got 2 straps, and everyone's letting off at the same time because you'll see Man City beat Liverpool. Or sorry, no, Liverpool beat Man City. Then Liverpool go and lose to Man United. Then Man City beat Man United. And everyone's just taking bodies everywhere. The only team that hasn't won is Chelsea. Chelsea haven't beat anyone in the top 6. Everyone else has took bodies everywhere. And it's just, and then even when I look at who we've got left to play, everyone will say we've got Liverpool, we've got Chelsea, we've got Arsenal. Those 3 are at home. For me, I look at it and go,
Brentford.
We've got Brentford last game of the season. Arsenal have to play Wolves at home. We have to go to Brentford. We've got Brighton away. We've got Fulham away. And we have Everton away, right? Those 4 games for me are probably, apart from the Liverpool one, I think they're tougher than Arsenal and Chelsea at home for me. Liverpool's a different story. And that's my thing on Liverpool is, right, when we played you the first time, I was the only person going, I don't know, to all the other content creators on Never Found going, I don't know. They gassed me up and were like, step out of your PTSD you have with Liverpool, right? Use common sense. Look at how you're playing. Look at how they're playing. You're going to go Anfield and beat them. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You must be right. And then I got reminded, right? And so I can't do this with Liverpool. That's why I'm still saying Liverpool will get top 4 because, like, if I sit here and think about it, how do Liverpool play at the Etihad? Do they try and do the possession thing? I doubt you would. Do you try and hit us on the counter? I think with Haaland, that's risky at the moment. We've kind of seen with Leipzig in that. But you are Liverpool. And the game is different. Liverpool City is now very different to any other game. It's different.
It's one of those games. Sorry, Pops. It's one of those games that it's like City, it's like Manchester United, Liverpool. Form goes out the window. You know what I mean? It's anyone's game.
Yeah, it is. That is it now. It's become that, and it's something interesting, right? I've seen City posted something the other day on their Twitter account, boosting Arsenal, saying, you know, Arsenal and City are taking football and this next generation of football to another level. And I thought, what's happening here is I think City and Arsenal boards have spoke with each other and said, look, it looks like this is a title race. Let's work together from now to try and put a positive spin because City and Liverpool has become very toxic, right? There was never really any love-hate between, look, Manx and Scousers don't like each other, but we're not your op. Your op is Man United. But because of this, it's become quite toxic. Like at every game now, there's trouble. It's becoming toxic. And it is a shame because for me, when I've looked at the last, 4 or 5 years, every time we play each other, it is the most competitive game in the Premier League.
Bucks.
Like, and the quality, the levels are
It's
just
the
different.
marquee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even this year, it was as well. To be frank with you.
Yeah, the first game was very competitive. Highly competitive.
But you know what's funny? City's having a bad season. Bad season, quote unquote. On for a treble. Comfortably.
Yeah.
Still, you know.
I'm-
And you just said something. You said Brighton, Brentford, Fulham, Everton. The best City beat them. I know you're looking at this through different lenses or whatever the case may be, but from our perspective, we're not in it. This isn't our season. We're on the sidelines. Yes, we're doing our reaction or whatever we do for our match preview, but this last season or the season before would have been a good conversation. Right now, this is us just talking to you, to be honest, because there's not much expectation on our side, and everybody's looking at you. Are you going to get 3
That's
points
dangerous,
to keep the
isn't it?
race on, or are you going to lose? Yeah, it is because there's nothing for us to lose in this one for once. It isn't you and us going ahead. Is all of the goodness on our side saying, go and get a point, go and stop them from getting points, because they're shitting themselves saying, if City can actually turn the screw and become the City that they were for the last X number of years, they're going to win all of the rest of these matches. That's what they're saying. Everyone knows that. But that's unlikely. That's unlikely because of this season, as you just said. This season is different.
The way you have to look at it is, and when we did a prediction on Never a Foul yesterday, I think it was, of where we think everyone's going to finish. And I put City at the top, right? And then everyone's like, oh, you think that you have every right to, City fans now think they have a God-given right to win the league. And I'm like, no, I said, I'm giving you the same narrative I've given you all season. I'm being consistent. Now it was back then when I was saying, listen, when it gets to the business end of the season, we know what City does, right?
Yeah.
And now it is, I have to say the same, right? But Arsenal have done everything to convince me otherwise, but I can't change that. And I keep saying it. If we are the best Man City, we win every game, right? If we're not, we don't, and we don't win the league. It's that simple, It's not me thinking we have the right to. No one has the right to win the Premier League at all. Trust me. Listen, you've got to remember, City were involved in the season when Leicester won it, So I've witnessed Leicester win it over us. So we have no right to win it at all. But when you're making predictions, you have to take a lot of things into consideration. And the fact of the matter is, based on what we've done in the last 8-9 years, I have to understand that we can come from behind. We can go on runs. Like, we can. We're the one team that can. Liverpool are as well. And this is why I put Liverpool to get top 4. Because Liverpool, look, Diaz is back. Thiago is back, right? If shit clicks, Liverpool can... I'm looking at who else is in for top 4. Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm still going to back Liverpool over them 3. I am, to be more consistent. Because if it clicks, there's no stopping them. Whereas the others, I've never seen it click. So why would I think that it can click?
That's
if it's a big word, though. Yeah. No, but the funny thing about football and content creation is the agendas. That's all it is. Everybody has a different agenda. So everybody wants to say, all right, let me see if I can get that slipping and clip him so that if something happens at the end of the season, he said this and he said that.
100%, yeah.
It's mad. Even Arsenal fans getting heat. You're leading. Celebrate. You're supposed to got your chest up and saying, saying we're going to win the league. Why not? If you can't enjoy the ride, when are you going to enjoy it? When you win the title at the end of the season, you can't just say we're going to win the league because you've won it.
See,
it's
the
mad.
way I
For
am,
me, it's mad.
I think everyone should celebrate everything. The bit I don't understand, for me personally, it's just not the way I am. My celebration is celebrating. I don't get the people that celebration, the first thing they do is go and rub it in other people's faces, right? That's the bit I don't like, because I keep saying it. All we want as a City fan base is everyone to leave us the fuck alone, right? I can tell you key things we've won and what we've done, what I've done, where I've been, right? And it hasn't involved me instantly getting on my phone and start ringing people. I always find it weird when I get messages when people beat me. I'm like, bro, we don't speak like that. If I'm on the stream, I've put myself out here for the comments to get at me. But if I'm chilling on my sofa, if I'm at a game, like when we lost to Brentford, by the time I'd left the ground, right, I've got my inbox going mad off of Arsenal fans, right? You're not even playing us. Why are you messaging me? Like, your game's in 10 minutes. Go and watch your game. Like,
Why am I not
It's-
surprised, Daps?
But no, it's a weird word. It is a weird word. We beat United 7-0, lost to Bournemouth, and the cherries were out. I said to myself, seriously? Seriously? I was confused.
Mad. It's a bit mad.
But that's on to next week. Is Haaland going to be fit?
so from what I've read and heard initially, so initially it came out that he's got a groin injury that he picked up against Burnley, right?
Okay.
Now, I was at the Burnley game. He didn't hobble off. When Pep had his press conference afterwards, Pep didn't speak of no injuries to Haaland. So it's like, and then when you read it more, it said that it was his groin felt a little tight, so precautionary, he ain't going to play. But then his dad's come out, I think yesterday or the day before, and said, he's resting, and we'll see how much he trains in the next week. So, I don't know. I don't know. And I've always been, when people said, oh, what if Haaland gets injured? I've always said, well, everyone's told me all season that, City are a worse team with Haaland. So if Haaland's injured, then I guess we're going to play Alvarez and kind of play a bit more like a false nine, and it'll suit us. But now it has got to a point where I am like, nah. We need Haaland now. We need Haaland. It's got to a point where we're used to playing with Haaland. We're starting to click with Haaland and Alvarez together, to be fair. We need Haaland. If Haaland's not there, I'm that little bit more worried.
Yeah. They got a question here for you, buddy, from Ravi. He wants to know what your thoughts on a City creating chances.
I think, look, the same way that we've always played for the last couple of years is keep passing. Everyone keep moving, and eventually space will be made. And I think this is where Jack Grealish really comes into it. That I think people will talk on Jack Grealish stats and whatever else. The reason why Pep likes Jack Grealish is because there's this weird thing with Jack Grealish. He's like a magnet, and players just seem to move towards him. That creates space for other players, right? And that's why, me personally, I want to see next season, I want to see Jack Grealish drop deep and play Bernardo Silva role, because I think if he was playing in a deep 8 role, picking up the ball from deep, if he starts running a defense through the middle, defenders will naturally move towards him, naturally for some reason, and that will then leave the space for Haaland to run into, because that's been the issue. And that's why I said with how Liverpool play, if you try and play possession, that means it's a bit more difficult to get the ball to Haaland. If you try and come at us, that could then leave space for Haaland to run into behind. But yeah, I think that's probably a valid point with where things have changed a bit this season. That the idea probably on paper when we got Haaland was great. Balls over the top, Haaland to run onto. But look, the way people play against City, there really isn't that much space to run into for Haaland. So, look, this is going to be an interesting game because of the fact that both teams have transitioned with how we play now. So it's not like the previous. Do you remember when we played you last season? I think it was the second game last season. And for some reason, out of nowhere, City kept playing long balls over the top.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
It caught you by surprise because it was like, this isn't how City play. And at the time, I was like, well, and that's the beauty of this game, that I think Pep and Klopp look at it and like, right, I've got to change it up a bit because we know each other so well. We know how each other are going to play. And
Yeah. How well do you think Ake has done? And is Laporte going to leave this summer? What do you think?
Yeah. I think Ake, for me now, this season's been our best defender. I'm from the beginning of the season, I saw how he was playing. He's quite quick, and he provides that cover, and he's left-footed. He works well on the left. Defensively, I know he's good. What I have been surprised at is how quickly he started to pick up being able to play in a more advanced position. Him and Grealish seem to have a really good understanding of knowing when to overlap, underlap. Laporte, for me, is one of our best defenders. So I think my daughter's about to run in. 1 second. Sorry, she's asking if she can have some candy. So with Laporte, I do think Laporte's one of our best centre-backs. He's left-footed, natural on the left. Last season, loved how he played through injuries at the end to get us over the line. But for some reason, and sometimes when I say Laporte's going in the summer, City fans think I don't rate him. It's like, no, I'm just talking what I've seen. And if we're playing Leipzig and we're 6-0 up and every player is getting rotated and Laporte still doesn't see any of the pitch, right? There's something going on, right, ultimately. And you're looking at a player that when he didn't get in the French team, he went and became Spanish, right? So he's not a City fan. If he's not playing for City and there's teams in Spain wanting him, he's going to go. Like, I think the fact that we're being heavily linked with Vardio and that, for me, he's gone. Like, I don't think there's a chance that he stays. I'll be shocked and I want him to stay, but nah.
Yeah.
And Bernardo.
Yeah, and Bernardo. Is Bernardo
I think Silva as well, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we should look. Bernardo for me is my favourite City player. For us to win the league this season, I've always said I think we need Bernardo at his best. I think that's probably why Pep pushed for Cancelo to go out on loan. With them both being Portuguese close friends, I think it's very apparent Cancelo was causing issues, and I think Pep thought we need this man away from Diaz and Bernardo because it could have a knock-on effect on other players. Yeah. But look, he wanted to go last summer before last. He stayed. He put a shift in. He won us the league. This season now, he's putting a shift in. I kind of said back in January, I hope someone grabs him and says, bro, give us one more solid 6 months and we'll let you go for 30 million. Yeah, because that's what we've done. We let Zeko go. We've let Jesus go. There's some players that when they put in a shift for a club, do you know what? And for me, when I look at it, he loves the club. He loves, like, the relationship he has with all the players at the club is amazing. You know, sometimes, there's something called the wife, right? And ultimately, happy wife, happy life. And I just think his wife don't want to be in Manchester no more. And he's just like, yeah, come on, let's just get back there. And you get it. You know what? Footballers do have lives that they have to live as well. And I think that's it. And I hope that we do let him go. The only thing is, if we're being honest, is last summer, I think City even said if the offer comes in, but Barcelona didn't place an offer. And
they didn't have the money, though, but they didn't have the money.
They're not going to have the money. That's the issue. Bernardo's not on a free, right? And
yeah, for sure.
I don't believe Bernardo will go to another Premier League club because that's not his issue. No. His issue is he wants to go back to Spain, Portugal. So it's actually if anyone comes and offers us the money.
Yeah. So you bring up a good point there. How do you feel about your left back situation? Because you've sold Xhaka to Arsenal, and you seem to have a rotation going into your left back spot all season with Bernardo even filling that spot as well. How are you feeling about that? Do you think you need to address that this offseason?
Do you know what? When you talk about left backs and rotating, it's just what we're used to. Zinchenko isn't a left back; he's a central midfielder. Fabian Delph is a central midfielder. Ake's a centre back. Foden's a midfielder.
Bernardo's
a midfielder. Yeah, I can't tell. Look, the last actual left back. Look, we got Gomez, but I'm really not too sure on Gomez at all. In fact, no, I'm not feeling Gomez. I'll be honest.
He hasn't banned out. Yeah.
I think the last true left back we had was Benjamin Mendy, right? And obviously, even then, he was injured all the time. Like, if I'm being real, before all the cases came, we were kind of like, it's not working. You're injured too much. The funny thing is that if you look at players, right, when Mendy and Aguero played together, Aguero's output was insane because Mendy is that guy, one touch, near post, one touch, near post. Mendy would suit Haaland amazingly, but he's never playing for us again. I don't know I think he's got 1 year left on his contract, maybe, obviously, because he's been, I don't know if he might still have a case outstanding, but he's been found innocent of most things, but he won't be playing for City again either way. So we have to get one. I think the hardest problem is finding the right one. There's talk Cancelo. Look, Munich don't want to keep Cancelo, but I don't think Pep's that guy that kind of says, "Oh yeah, you know what, you can come back, we'll shake hands." Also for
shake
me,
hands.
Cancelo's played for 5 teams in 5 years. For me, that kind of says all you need to know. Like, he's already thrown his toys out the pram a bit at Munich. I don't want him back at the club. I always compare Cancelo to Trent a bit, right? As far as that, they are elite in the right system. Yeah.
Yeah.
This season, I have no blame on Trent for anything at Liverpool, by the way, right? Trent is the same player for me. He's always been. Trent is a player that should be allowed to do what Trent does. Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing's changed with that. Yeah. The only thing is that he's now not getting the cover that he used to get. And so he's having to get back more, and it's making him look, and people are holding it against him. And it's like, no. That's Trent. That is risk versus reward. What Trent brings going forward, he needs to cover. Same with Cancelo, because Cancelo defensively, I've never been sold on it at all. So the difference is that Trent hasn't thrown a strop. Trent's still here fighting, whereas Cancelo throws strops, throws a ball at the manager, and does all of that crap. So, yeah, Cancelo for me's got to go, and then it's who we get at left back. And I've seen Chilwell linked. Look, I've just said how much Mendy was injured. I don't want Chilwell. He's injured too much. There's no point. He's great when Chilwell's fit, amazing, but he's not fit enough. Who else is out there at left back that is available? Vardiol can play there, but he's more of a centre back. Do we really? Don't know.
Yeah.
We need to address it though. We do, because if Ake gets injured, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Nothing in the back.
Yeah.
Nothing in the academy. Nothing
Gomez.
in the unders.
Gomez is coming in. I don't. This is a mad thing. Pep won't play Gomez. He'll play someone else. He'll play someone else over our left back, and that kind of tells you all you need to know. So
you got Rico. Is Rico Lewis, right?
Rico Lewis is on the right.
On the right, yeah. So don't you have an equivalent of him in the unders? There's nothing underneath in the juniors
Rico
or
Lewis
academy
good,
that looks decent, like Rico Lewis on the left. I mean,
I haven't seen nothing yet, but look, by next season, who knows? But even that, it's similar with you lot, I think, and us this season. That with Rico Lewis, when Rico Lewis was playing a lot, and there's this, you know, when Arsenal played us in the cup, and they said this is City's best 11 against our rotated 11. I would say it's not our best 11. They'll go, and it is. That's the team that played the last couple of weeks. I go, so because it played the last couple of weeks, that's our best 11. No, our best 11 is not in form, and there's morale issues, right? So they're not playing. And if we keep playing that 11, I rate Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis will not win us the league this season. Yeah, he's too young, and he doesn't need that pressure. Same thing start the season when you were playing Carvalho and Harvey Elliott. And it's like they're both good players, but they don't need this pressure. They need to be able to play alongside your best. Yeah, then you get the best out of them. You can't put pressure on them. It's the same with Rico Lewis a bit. Like, we need to bring them in slowly, like we did with Foden.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. So before we get into starting lineups for City and Liverpool, Daps, one last question. Would you rather three-peat this season or win a Champions League?
Yeah, I'm going to go Champions League. Me generally, I would say the three-peat. Just the fact of, for me, the league, you know, it's I guess it's what. Look, we don't know much about Champions League, so I can't come on here and go, look, the heritage thing. But it's got to a point now where I want it for Pep, because everyone's going to, if Pep doesn't get a Champions League, no matter what he's done in the league, everyone is going to go, no, because, look, we have done enough in the league and domestically for people to put us in the conversation for best ever domestically. We've done enough. We've done, in 5 years, retained it twice. We've done a double, a treble, 100 points. We have done enough domestically for it to be up there. For it to be up there with, really, you need that Champions League. You do. And I want it just to shut everyone else up talking about it. Like, it's just... But look, I am also someone that says, before I went to the Bernabeu last season, I've always respected heritage. It's not a joke. It is a thing, right? And the know-how is a thing. And at the moment, We haven't got it. We're like Arsenal. Arsenal fans hate to hear it, but Arsenal fans this season in the Europa League, look how good Arsenal have looked in the league, right? But in the Europa League, they just look different. Because in Europe, Arsenal's history is the same as City's. Actually, worse in the Champions League. Because in 12 years, we've got 3 semi-finals. In 19 years, they got to 1, right?
You don't want to hear that.
And then in the other tournament, the other side, outside of the Champions League, they've won 1 European tournament, so have we, yeah? So for me, it's about creating big moments. And like the first time we got to the final when we beat, I think, Dortmund, then PSG on the way to the final, as fans, we started to believe. We lost the final, cool. But the next season, we went again. We beat Atletico, we beat Dortmund, we beat... and then we went to Real Madrid, beat them in the first leg. All of these are big moments, and it helps the fan base to believe. And that's what we need to just keep doing, keep plugging away. I'm not going to lie. Tuchel going to Munich, yeah. The guy that beat us in the final, I am like, oh, it's written in the stars, isn't it? And the worst thing is that if we lose that, Chelsea fans are going to think they've got a W over us again. Like,
Tuchel's got 9 lives, man. Anyway.
He's for me, mad over. Look, don't get me wrong, in cup competitions, but mad overrated for me.
I'm with you on that one.
He lands on his feet.
He does. He sure does.
From Chelsea,
Look, get a league to it, and then I'll hear it. But without a league, like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mad overrated.
Yeah, I agree. So you're starting 11 for this game, Daps. What do you think City is going to do?
So I think it'll be Edison, it'll be Walker, it will be Diaz, it will be Stones. I think it'll be Diaz and Stones, but it might be Diaz and Akanji. They're starting to click a bit, but I think it'll be... I'd rather Diaz and Stones 100%, but you never know. You never know with Pep. I don't know if Akanji's played international, whereas Stones will have. So that will have a bit of a say in it, maybe. And then on the left, it'll be Ake, Rodri, De Bruyne, Gundogan. Rodri, De Bruyne, Gundogan. Grealish, Haaland, Foden. I think Bernardo won't start. I'd like Bernardo to start, but I don't think he will. Yeah. The hardest one for me is who starts alongside Diaz. I'm not sure on that one.
Pops, what do you got for us? Who's starting for Liverpool? Because we in mud.
Let me see. If we start the same 11 we did last time, that means Millie starts in midfield. So unless somebody else is coming off the treatment table, out the back room.
Thiago's back, isn't he?
No, not yet.
Not back. No. All right.
No.
Okay.
His injuries are a mad thing. They usually say 2 weeks and then it ends up being 2 months.
Yeah, it's weird. Weird.
It is very weird.
And I think his is a hip injury or something like that. So
it is.
I can't see him in the running. So it probably ends up being the same 11 that we had last time.
Diaz? Too soon for Diaz, do you reckon?
Too soon for Diaz for me. Actually, I don't want to see Diaz this season, for me, personally.
I don't want him to play again until next season.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
I wouldn't risk him.
Back. No point.
I don't need to risk him. I don't need him to
Not for me.
Not for me.
That's what he did with Van Dijk, you know. When Van Dijk was back training mad early and Liverpool were just like, we're out of everything. What's the point? Like, let him...
Exactly.
And on them lot, you have to do that. When it's a long injury, you have to rebuild the muscle round to protect it. And I think I've always said it. I think you did the way you brought Van Dijk back, and this is coming from a City fan that saw how we kept Russian company back, right? The way you did it with Van Dijk, I thought was spot on. You kind of said, no point. He said, I'm not linking up with Holland. And he was there from the start of your summer, training, high altitude, And I think you managed. And to be fair, since then, yeah, we have seen one injury for Van Dijk. But look, remember, Company was back injured. With these things, you have to take your time with it.
Yep, I agree with you.
Problem with
For
Van
me-
Dijk was he played every minute of the season after he came back still. That was my issue, which is why I think you're seeing a lot of these struggles this season.
Yeah.
Too many minutes in the previous season, right after injury, that could have been the end of the career. So for me, that was, yes, we managed the injury itself, and Van Dijk was good not going to play with Holland, but the season afterwards, I think we too many minutes.
And the fact that we played every possible game that there is to play that season did not help.
He was in all of them. All.
Yeah, every single one. I agree.
Yeah, that's right. He must have played about what 6-7 games or something then. Something like that, was it?
No, I heard it was in the 80s, overall.
He was in everything.
Everything.
Which was mad.
Yeah, it's season after an injury, that is actually fucking mental when
mad.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
For me, typical back five that we usually play. That's not going to change. Robertson, Trent, you got Virgil, Konate, Alisson,
and Ali.
And then your middle, which could be a toss-up, who knows? But Flacco is going to be there, although really don't want
Hendo probably starts.
Hendo's going to start
if he's back from international duty. All right,
we'll go with Hendo. Yeah,
Hendo will probably start. Elliot with Hendo, and then the front three.
And then the front three of Gakpo, Salah, Nunes.
Yeah.
We haven't played Gakpo yet, actually, have we? That's interesting.
Yeah, that three is getting a little bit of a connection going on. They're clicking a little bit. I really want to see how Diaz next season when he comes in, how it's going to look. But
it's who's going to look. The fact is, when people go, oh, who's going to hold bench? Well, there might be an injury, which then deals with who's holding bench ultimately. But it is, if Diaz is fit, he's a starter in it.
Agreed. He is. For me too.
For me, let me see. Again, it's this injury thing, just like Van Dijk. I would say yes, but it's minutes. It's minute rotation. And having 5 for 3 spots with 5 subs means you've always got 2 good ones on the bench. You can always get a switch.
Yeah,
so for me,
it's
perfect.
That is a big difference.
5 subs over 3 subs is huge in the football landscape in terms of having what we call in a whole bench or a bench player and subs and reserves. We use all these terms in almost like a derogatory manner, but it's a squad game. You can't have 11 players and say, these 11 are going to win us the league, the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Carling Cup. It's mad.
I always say this to Arsenal, that's what they've got with Zinchenko and Jesus, right? Is that Zinchenko and Jesus at City, they've learned, they understand totally. You can play every game and end up the season with no trophies, or you can be part of a squad, still play about 35 to 40 games a season and come out of a season with multiple trophies. Right? That's the beauty with Jesus, with Arsenal at the moment, is that they don't have to put... Jesus will not come back from injury and expect to walk straight in the team, right? He will understand and probably be thankful, to be fair, after that long time out, that it's not pressure all on you, go in and deal with it.
Yeah.
He can play his part. To be fair, he's played his part already, but he can play his part off the bench. And I think that is it. It's all about the squad. That's something with City this season. If you go back to when us and you were going back to back, I looked at a bench one time and I'm seeing Bernardo Silva on the bench. I'm seeing Foden on the bench. I'm seeing Stones on the bench. I'm seeing just complete quality on the bench. This season, there's some games where I'm looking at our bench. We've got 4 youngers on the bench. And it's like, people say City have this big squad. We don't. We have one of the smallest squads, right? It's just talent, right? But this season, I've looked at it a bit and thought it doesn't hit the same as when we have Bernardo, Sane, Foden, Stone, Gundogan, all sat on the bench waiting to come on if need be. Whereas this season, and I think it was only maybe against Leipzig that we've started to get that back. And I don't know how. Maybe we had a few players out, but I looked at it and thought, we've got Alvarez on the bench, we've got Foden on the bench, and this and that. So it's starting. We're starting to get back there.
Yeah. So how are you feeling?
You had injuries at the wrong times. Sorry. I was just saying, you had injuries at the wrong times, but you let 3. You let 3 out. Cancelo,
Fernandinho, to be
Zinchenko,
fair.
and Jesus.
Yeah.
So you've left 3.
And
Fernandinho's
Fernandinho and
gone.
Sterling.
So all of a sudden you got a spot. And Sterling as well. So you got spots that were left that weren't filled. And if you got injuries, then that makes it a smaller
facts.
squad. So
I heard you
worrying for us.
It's
because
so I heard you earlier.
Sorry, go ahead, Lee. You got one thing, but you go ahead.
I heard you earlier. You think Liverpool is going to get in the top 4?
Yeah.
At the end of the season.
Yeah. I do. I think there's a few things. Look, I'm relying on you lot taking points against Arsenal for starters. Right? So,
I want to take points against Arsenal.
Oh, of course you do. Of course you do. And I just think you've got the know-how. Look, back in 2021, was it? I think it was, where you were way out of the top 4 and you ended up getting 3rd, right? And it's just, look, if, say, the top 3 at the moment was Man City, Arsenal, and Newcastle, then I'd be like, over Liverpool. Because I think Liverpool, Man United, I'm not sure. But Newcastle dropped off drastically, and now Man United have kind of moved up to, we think United are going to get 3rd, and then I'm looking at the 4th spot, and I'm looking at Liverpool, Tottenham, Brighton, to be fair, and Newcastle,
and Newcastle.
Brighton look unreal. Out of all those teams, Brighton look like the one team that actually are on smoke, but they ain't got the know-how. So I'm kind of thinking, and we've got to go Brighton. So I'm kind of saying, look, we have to go and get 3 points off of them and stuff like that. But I just think Liverpool, Newcastle have got some very lucky games, some very lucky results recently. They've scored in last minute and whatever. They're not the same Newcastle they were before the World Cup. And that's against lesser teams. I think Newcastle against some other teams might not get that last minute goal. So I think Newcastle might end up maybe dropping down to about 6th. And Tottenham, with everything going on there, they've got no consistency whatsoever. So I just think Liverpool have got probably still the better squad than all of them, and they've got the know-how. So
we need to get on a run for sure. No, Pops, I know you want. I know you got something for Dap, so hit him with it.
No, it's just. But we were just saying additions. I heard that saying he's gonna sneak in and grab Bellingham just to piss us off. So I said I gotta address this one.
Bro, look, the truth is, none of us know where it is with Bellingham, right? You know, people that claim to be in the know have said the contracts are drawn up at Liverpool. I've heard the same thing at City. Now, the fact of the matter is they are drawn up, 100%. Bro, I can't offer you a contract unless it's drawn up. Right, so every club that wants Bellingham has drawn up a contract, right?
Yeah.
That don't mean shit. If it's not signed, right, I could draw up a contract, sign Bellingham to wash my bathroom every day, right? That don't mean he's going to sign it, right?
Yeah.
And all of us are kind of suggesting, you know, he's going to come here, he's going to go there. We've heard Ormstein come out now. Now, the truth of the matter is, would I like Bellingham to come City? Yeah. Bellingham's ceiling as a midfielder is very high, especially for his age, right? So whoever gets him, you're looking at potentially a midfielder, a potential captain for the next 10 years, right? So, with Bernardo and Gundogan going, that would be great. With your situation, that every club, United could do with him, Arsenal could do, any club could do with him. But here's the thing. I don't believe Bellingham goes in and changes any club, right? I don't believe he does. I don't think
not by himself. I agree with you.
And like, if I'm real, if we don't get him, then I spoke earlier. I like the idea of Grealish dropping deep. I like the idea of Foden dropping deep. So I'd rather we do that and then go and spend the money getting another winger or something, right? Because we are going to need to buy a few players this summer. So I won't cry if we don't get Bellingham. It's not like, but because of the back and forth I've had with Liverpool and how adamant certain Liverpool content creators are that they're going to get him, it would just be quite funny, egg on your face. And it's the same content creators that said Qatar is done. The same content creators say Bellingham's done and all this. Look, if he doesn't go Liverpool, they'll deny ever saying it. But we know they said it. And it's just, everyone claims stuff. Does Bellingham even know where he's going yet? Really?
Yeah, I
He
don't
could
even know if
just-
that's sure.
He could just stay in Germany, right? Why not?
Stay at Dortmund.
Why not just stay at Dortmund? Why not just stay? Yeah, why
Yeah.
not just stay?
Do you know the one move I don't think's right for him? Real Madrid at the moment.
Nah, me too. Yeah, no.
I think he's been away from England. He's still only 19 or 20, right? He's developed himself, developed his game, became mature, probably away from all of that. Now, for me, the next stage of his development would probably be to come to England, be in a comfortable environment, and then improve a bit more, and then make the jump to Real Madrid. If he goes Real Madrid now, with the way Real Madrid are, if he goes there and doesn't hit the ground running instantly, with the quality of midfield they have, and with the fact that he'd maybe be going in after Modric, the confidence knock that would take would be mad.
Yeah. And the pressure in Madrid is going to be different to me.
I agree.
than
Pressure in
anything
Madrid,
else that he'll get in the Prem.
Even more so, if you're if you've come up through Madrid or Barcelona's ranks, yeah, then you get a bit of time, right? Because you're one of their own, and to be fair, same with any club. But over there, especially with the amount Bellingham will cost, he's going to be Galactico, right?
Yeah.
Like we've seen it with Bale.
We've seen it before. Yeah.
Bale won them trophies, and they still never really took to him, right?
Yeah.
So if Bellingham goes there, and it's harder for a midfielder to really prove that Bellingham, with Bale, he was scoring goals that won them trophies, right?
Yeah.
With Bellingham,
He was winning.
it's a
He
lot
was
harder
literally
to
winning
see
them.
what he's doing, right?
Exactly.
So if he doesn't go there, they're going to turn on him. They will.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the right move.
Yeah. I'm even questioning the move for Tchouaméni over there right now, but that's a topic for another day because he doesn't get no play.
That's the thing.
I think
really
he got issues with Carlo. I think he and Carlo got some sort of issues.
Who's that?
Tchouaméni.
I think Ancelotti and Ancelotti got issues. Yeah. Because he's
Crazy.
quality.
But then does Ancelotti stay? I mean, look, if Real Madrid don't win the Champions League, they ain't won the La Liga. Zidane turned 3.
Possibility.
Not again.
Possibility. He's always the savior for them, it seems.
Yeah.
So let's get a score line. This game, Liverpool City. I'm going to start with you
Dabs
first.
doesn't do predictions. Dabs doesn't do predictions.
He does predictions this year.
I can't.
He does it. He does it. See?
I can't. Listen, if it was Leipzig in the Champions League, I might give you one, but I can't on Liverpool, man. I can't.
Well, I go in a 3-1 City win.
For the next week, wondering. The only prediction I could give you, I wouldn't even want to give that because I've actually given 1 or 2 and got them right now. So I don't want to give no prediction at all. Sorry, I can't.
Well, I'm giving mine. It's going to be a 3-1 City win.
Let's hope so.
I'm not overly confident in this game at all. And I'm usually one of the more positive-minded ones, but I'm not liking how this club's playing.
All right. Here's another spin. We haven't won an early kickoff all season.
It is true.
We have not won
We've
an
had a
early
few as
kickoff
well
all
this
season.
season, to be fair. We won a lot one, but
So
it's gonna be a long date, bruv.
look, this is the thing.
we could be due. Yeah.
If you look at it on paper, generally, if it's at Anfield, Liverpool win. If it's at Etihad, City win. Generally, But it has I think we've got maybe a draw there before at Anfield. We won when there was no fans. I'd kind of discredit that because of the fact there weren't fans. I think last season we got a draw at the Etihad.
Yeah.
So
it was a 2-2 draw.
Yeah. If we won, we would have won the title.
Correct.
Again,
it was a 2-2 draw, but we had to equalize in the second half with that.
Damn you, that
damn pass from Salah with the outside of the boot to Mane to equalize.
In
the second half. Yeah, it's always a good showing between Liverpool and City. It's going to be an exciting game, but I'm not overly confident when it comes to Liverpool.
I feel like from Liverpool's point of view, you lot almost see this as, you know what? Let's take an L on this one, right? For the good of God, for the greater good, right? And then let's start our run. Then let's start our push for Champions League football. But this one, no.
I want to beat you and Arsenal. I'm nothing
He
to do
wants
with title
both.
run. I
Yeah,
want
but that
both
don't
of you.
help, bro.
Lay off.
No, that
You all
don't
work it
help.
out. No, but both of y'all work out by yourselves. I want 6 points. I want top 4. You work it out.
That is how it
You
should be, to
understand
be
me?
fair.
Yeah, that's your
That is how it
fight, not mine.
I don't think we're gonna beat you guys, but I want to beat Arsenal because I got an agenda going to get with Guna Lee that he's gonna be 0 for 4 for any sort of trophy this season, and I'm correct so far. He's 0 for 3, so I got to keep that energy because Guna brings it every single week with all this smack talk.
I mean, he does, unless his team happen to have lost, and
Then he goes on date
on
night. Then he's on date night. Yeah, exactly. He ducked me for a week straight.
Bro, listen, me and Lee do a lot of stuff together, but we speak away from podcasts. Yeah, he's one of the real good people. Like, I've got so much time for him. Even when me and Coppish had our falling out last year, Lee instantly after the show was on the phone to me. You're right, because that's not like you. Something's happened. Yeah, like so. But about a month, right, when Arsenal came back against Villa that day, right?
Yeah.
He was doing a watch along at AFTV, and I was due to do a watch along at DR Media. They're in the same building, right? So I've pulled up, coincidence totally, half time, Arsenal are losing. And I see Lee there on the phone. So I've beeped him and gone, Lee. And he's kind of looked at me. I've drove up, turned my car around, quickest I've ever turned a car around, parked it up, jumped out, got down there. He dipped into the studio, right? So I've gone in the studio after him, thought, no. And I've said to the production team, are they recording? He goes, yeah, they're live now. So I've gone, walked up the stairs to where him and Robbie are sat there. And I've just waved to them both and gone, hi. They're losing at this point. And both of them just looked at me. No smile, no nothing. So I'm like, okay. Anyway, I've gone back, gone on DR. Arsenal end up winning. Both of them invade the studio. And I'm like, oh, you want to speak to me now, Lee? Because at half time when you were losing, you didn't want to speak to me. You didn't want to acknowledge my existence. But now, is what it is.
Big up Guna Lee. Big up to Guna Lee.
Funny
He is something else.
games. Yeah.
Oh man, Captain Sal, you're doing the stuff.
You know what? Content creation, and generally I'd probably say 99% of the time, away from what people see, yeah. And to be fair, watching this stream, people think these guys get on, yeah. But even when it gets heated, yeah, we all get on, right? We all get on. There's very few that we don't really get on with, right? We're all friends away from this, speak to each other, check in on each other, all that. It's the comments that are the toxic ones. It's the comments that are ruthless, right?
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I saw some crazy ones last night when I was watching Coppish, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like,
"Oh, well, it's getting worse." There's elements, and I won't get into it too much, but it's just it's sad. It's I'm trying to kill them with kindness now because I've thought about it and thought, you know what? For anyone to go into comments and start being nasty about people, that probably says that they're not having a good day themselves, right? And do you know what? I have bad days, and I probably I have swung out at the wrong people, and that's because I'm going through something away from football, right? So with these people, it's like when I've had it a few times, more and more I'm getting it, and my response is, I hope your day gets better. Like genuinely, I hope your day gets better because for you to get pleasure out of this, maybe this is the way you're cheering yourself up. If that's what you need, no problem. Like.
Yeah,
I'm not a bad person, honestly. Like, I'm not.
I hear you, brother. Well, peoples, thanks for tuning in. Big up to Daps.
Thanks for having me, man.
Coming on to the show for the preview, Man City, Liverpool. I'm sure we'll have him on at another time again.
Yeah, whenever you need me. We can have a celebration.
Just remind them where they can find you.
Yeah, we can do a celebration.
I'm sure they know already, but just remind them.
You can find me on Never a Foul is the channel. We're live at 9:45 tonight doing a combined 11 of all the teams. So I think it's one player from each team outside of the top 6. And I'm interested to see where they're classing Chelsea as. But yeah, so that's 9:45 Never a Foul, and I'm on all other socials at MCFC Daps. But Never a Foul's the big one. And just make sure you subscribe to this and keep up the good work, man.
Thanks, man. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thanks for watching the preview show. It's Beijing Reds TV, and we are out.